All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today, we're going to kind of take you inside the world of cryptocurrency heists. And more specifically, we're going to be looking at North Korea's alleged role in, well, you could call it the biggest crypto heist ever. We're talking billions of dollars, like top-tier hackers, and kind of like a digital treasure hunt, except, the stakes are global. So our main source today is going to be excerpts from this document. It's called northkoreanhackers.txt, and let me tell you, it lays out some pretty wild stuff. The big question we're going to try to answer is, how does a nation, a nation that's under such heavy sanctions, how do they pull off these record-breaking cyber heists? And what does all this mean, for the future of cryptocurrency and like how safe it is?
Well, what's really interesting here is that North Korean hackers, they're suspected of stealing, get this, $1.5 billion from Bybit. Now, Bybit is the world's second largest cryptocurrency exchange. And this $1.5 billion, that's almost double what they allegedly stole in crypto all last year.
Wow. And get this, the whole heist, it all went down in minutes, on a Friday no less.
Yeah, that speed is just crazy. But to really understand the scale of this,
Yeah.
that $1.5 billion, that's a big chunk of North Korea's reported annual GDP. Like, it's a massive win for them, with all the sanctions they're under.
Right, so huge win for North Korea. But what about Bybit? I mean, how do you even recover from something like that?
Well, Bybit's CEO, he came out right away and said, don't worry, company's solvent, we can cover these losses, which is good, right? But it makes you think, what kind of security do these big exchanges have in place? I mean, if it happened to Bybit, could it happen to others? What does it do for people's trust in these exchanges?
Yeah, for sure. It makes you wonder about your own crypto, doesn't it? If Bybit gets hit, what about, the average person? And what's interesting? Bybit is actually offering this 10% bounty to anyone who can help recover the money. So it seems like they're, trying to get the whole community involved and keeping things safe.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting development. But you have to remember, even though Bybit says they can cover it, the money itself, it's not just gone. North Korea, they're going to have to launder it, to get it back to them.
Launder digital money. How do they even do that?
Well, it's kind of like this. They take that stolen cryptocurrency and they swap it through all these other digital currencies, trying to, hide where it came from. And then eventually they convert it into, regular money, dollars, yuan, that kind of thing. Imagine trying to follow a single drop of water through a giant churning ocean. That's kind of what these investigators are up against.
Wow. So it really is like a digital treasure hunt, and they're racing against the clock to catch it.
Exactly. And, it doesn't always work. But there have been wins. Investigators actually recovered $1 million out of $100 million from this crypto firm in California. And in the Bybit case, they've gotten about $43 million back so far. And another $243,000 has been seized. So, it's not a lot compared to what was taken. But it shows you it's possible to get it back.
Okay, that's good to know. But who are these people doing this, These cyber criminals? What do we know about them?
Well, all signs point to this group called the Lazarus Group, their North Korean hacking group. And they're believed to be behind, like, a bunch of major cyber attacks. They're big players in the cybercrime world. Arkham Intelligence and Zach XBT, they're both, pretty reputable sources. And they both said it's the Lazarus Group.
Okay, so this isn't like some random hackers. This is organized, right? So how do they pull something like this off? Bybit, that's a major exchange. They have to have security.
Well, from what we know, they use this thing called blind signing. It basically lets someone sign a transaction, but they don't see what they're signing.
So like signing a blank check.
Exactly. Normally you see everything, right? The amount, who it's going to, every detail before you sign. But with blind signing, they can hide all that and then, manipulate it.
Wow. So they got around Bybit security and boom, billions are gone in minutes. It's kind of making sense now, but it's scary stuff. So it sounds like North Korea, with all these sanctions, they're turning to hacking to, make money. Are they really that desperate?
Well, it definitely seems that way. Their economy is really struggling. And cybercrime, it's a way to get around those sanctions.
Yeah.
And get money, that they need.
And it's not just about the money, is it? This goes way beyond that. There was a White House official who said about half of North Korea's missile program is being funded by these heists. So this is serious. This is about global security.
Yeah, absolutely. Raises a lot of concerns.
Yeah.
How about, how effective are the current strategies to stop these attacks? It's a global problem.
It is. And there's this guy, Nick Carlson. He's a former FBI analyst, and he was focused on North Korea. And he said something pretty interesting. He said, the current strategy from governments and industry, it's clearly not working. People need to go back to the drawing board. and figure out how to stop North Korea and how to punish them for this. That's a pretty strong statement. This isn't just a problem for, the crypto world. This affects all of us. This Bybit heist, it's like a wake-up call, right? It shows how these cyber threats, they're changing all the time, and we need to find solutions.
It's not just about stolen money. It's about, global security and the stability of the whole financial system. And it makes you think, how do we protect these digital assets? How do we hold these countries accountable? And how do we keep them from using this money to, cause instability and conflict?
Big questions, but important ones. So let's talk about solutions. What can be done to stop these attacks from happening?
Well, I think to really stop these attacks, you need a multifaceted approach. Governments, cybersecurity firms, the crypto industry itself, everyone's got to be involved. There's no quick fix here. It's going to take a real team effort.
Right, a team effort. But where do we even start? I mean, what are the key things we need to focus on?
Well, first off, we got to improve cybersecurity everywhere. These exchanges, like Bybit, they need to be constantly updating their security. Things like multi-factor authentication, really strong threat detection systems, make it way harder for these hackers to, get in.
So basically making it a lot tougher to exploit any weaknesses. But is that enough? I mean, these hackers, they're always finding new ways in, aren't they?
Yeah, you're right. Technology alone isn't going to cut it. We also need to educate people, about how to protect themselves. Strong passwords, watching out for phishing scams, understanding the risks.
Yeah, that's so true. I think people get so excited about crypto, they forget about basic online safety. We all got to take responsibility, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Awareness is huge. But we also need to get better at tracking this money and getting it back.
You mean like those investigators trying to stop it before it's laundered?
Exactly. But we got to step it up. We need better ways to trace crypto, more coordination between countries, and new ways to, disrupt the whole laundering process.
It's like a global game of cat and mouse with billions of dollars on the line.
Yeah, it is. And the stakes are huge. Yeah. We're not just talking about money here. This could be funding stuff that, threatens everyone.
And it's not just North Korea doing this, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, no state-sponsored cybercrime. It's a growing problem.
Yeah.
More and more countries are getting into it. For spying, for money, you name it.
So this goes way beyond North Korea. We need, a global plan to deal with this. I mean, what more can we even do to North Korea? They're already under so many sanctions.
That's the tough part. Sanctions haven't really worked so far. Some people are saying we need stronger measures, like targeted cyber sanctions, even diplomatic pressure.
So basically making it clear there will be consequences, and that they'll be serious enough to make them think twice. But what about the root causes here? Why are countries like North Korea doing this in the first place?
No, that's a really good question. And it brings us back to those sanctions. Some people think that the sanctions on North Korea are actually pushing them towards cybercrime.
So it's like a vicious cycle. The sanctions are supposed to punish them, but they're also making it worse.
It's complicated. There's no easy answer.
This is a lot to process. What can our listeners do right now to protect themselves in this, crazy digital world?
Well, the first thing is awareness, Understand the risks, be careful, take steps to protect yourself.
So strong passwords, two-factor authentication, not clicking on sketchy links, all that stuff we hear about but never do.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also important to remember, this is a global issue. We got to work together on this. Support organizations fighting cybercrime, stay informed, and speak up, advocate for better policies. We all have a voice.
So we all have a part to play.
We do. This fight against cybercrime, it's on all of us. We need to work together to make the digital world safer for everyone. Now, let's get back to the Bybit heist for a minute. We talked about blind signing before, but let's really break down how that worked in this attack.
All right, so back to the technical stuff. We keep hearing about this blind signing. Can you walk us through how that actually works? How did the hackers use it in the Bybit heist?
Okay, so imagine this system where you need a digital signature to approve a transaction. Now, with blind signing, someone can sign, but they don't actually see what they're signing.
So literally signing a blank check. You said that before. No idea about the amount, who gets it, nothing.
Exactly. That's what we think happened to Bybit. I mean, in a secure system, you'd see every single detail before you signed, right?
Yeah.
But with blind signing, all those details, they're hidden. And the hackers, they can manipulate them. So basically, they snuck past Bybit security and poof, billions gone. Just like that.
So one little loophole, and it costs billions. It makes you think, how often does this happen?
Well, this heist shows us that these vulnerabilities, they can be anywhere, even in systems that seem super secure. And the thing is, The crypto world, it's always changing. So everyone has to be really careful. Big exchanges, people with their own wallets. Security has to be a top priority.
It's like we all have a responsibility here.
Exactly. And we need better systems to, catch these attacks quickly. The faster you can find a breach and stop it, the less damage there'll be. So strong security, always being on the lookout, and fast action. That's the key.
Okay, so what does all this mean for the future of cryptocurrency? I mean, is it even possible to keep it safe?
I think it is, but this Bybit thing, it's a wake-up call. Crypto is getting more popular, more valuable, and that means the criminals, they're going to keep coming. And their methods, they're going to get even more advanced.
So what should our listeners do? I mean, how can they protect themselves?
Well, the future of crypto, it depends on everyone working together, We need security, transparency, and people doing the right thing. The choices we make today, how we protect ourselves and each other, that's going to decide what happens to this technology.
Wow, that's pretty deep. Well, we covered a lot today. The Bybit heist, how big it was, these state-sponsored hackers, and how important it is for everyone to work together. These cyber threats, they're getting more and more complex.
Yeah, for sure. But at the end of the day, this is all about, what people do. We have this amazing technology, cryptocurrency. It could change everything about finance, give people more power. But it can also be used for bad stuff.
Like a double-edged sword.
Exactly. We all have to understand both sides, the developers, the governments, the investors, everyone. We've got to be proactive, stay informed, and keep learning.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into crypto, cybercrime, and, all the crazy stuff happening around the world. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay safe out there in the digital world.